Recently, I was contacted by some educators who wanted to create a Survey 123 for their students to collect reoccurring information about the trees on their campus. And one of the challenges they had was their students are using iPads without high quality GPS tracking or information. And of course, generally speaking, trees don't move a lot. So ideally, as educators, we probably only need to identify the tree location once and have the kids use that pre-identified location in their own work. So we can do this in a two-step process. And I'm going to simplify things greatly here because of time. And what I'm going to do is actually create two surveys. The first survey is the one that I, as an educator, might use to identify the tree locations on my school property. So in order to do this, I'm going to keep this very basic. I've created a simple text field, and then I'm going to drag a map field onto my tree collection survey, and we'll call this tree location. And for our purposes, I'm just going to leave this at default. So it'll collect point data, which is accurate. We've got some widget options here we can turn on or turn off. But functionally, that's really all I need. I could set this as required. But what we're going to do now is publish the survey. Okay, our survey has finished publishing. I'm going to go over to the Collaborate tab in Survey123. I'm going to check on my Share Survey settings. In this particular case, I'm going to set my survey. It doesn't have to be to everyone. I'm going to go ahead and set it to everyone. And then Share Results. Share Results is where it gets more important, especially if you have kids using their own surveys or the second survey that we're going to make. If those kids aren't logged in, the data in this result set needs to match the sharing. So I'm going to set it to everyone so that the kids don't have to be logged in to collect their tree data. And so what this will do is make my tree inventory publicly viewable as soon as it gets done. Now, we're going to go ahead and add some test data to this. I'll pause the video and we'll be right back after we add a few test points. Okay, so we have added 3 test data points, 3 trees that might be on our school grounds. I'm still in the first survey where I collected the tree location, and we can take a quick look at the data to make sure that they look the way we want. Yep, so I have 1, 2, 3 trees. Now, what I want to do is actually go over, I'm going to rename this. I'm going to call this my, base tree inventory, just to help me keep things straight. And what I want to do now is come over to Survey123 and generate a new survey. So I'll come up here, I'll go New Survey. I'm going to just select the Web Designer. And as it spins up, remember what we're doing now is creating that second survey, the survey that the kids could use on an iPad or a Chromebook or their own phones or whatever when they're out in the field, but they're collecting they're collecting information about, in this case, 3 known locations. So this could easily happen if you're stream monitoring and you're monitoring the stream at consistent locations over time. Tree monitoring, maybe there's other biologics that you're looking at, maybe you're even doing air quality monitoring and you want to make sure you're recording the same locations over time. So what we're going to do here on the student inventory, and again, we're going to keep this very brief. We'll have for our demo here, we'll call this student code maybe that's where they put in their magic number or their student ID, however it is that you record student identity without actually exposing any personal identifiable information. So secondly, then what we want to do is add a widget called location list, and it's right next to the map, any address widgets. Location list, though, is where the magic happens. And what we can do is set this to our previously collected tree information. So we'll call it tree location. Under choices, we're not too worried about them being random, but if I hit edit and I go to select a feature layer and I hit add, I should hopefully see my base tree inventory, and what I'm looking for is the results layer. It's very important because there's two. There's a form and a results, and we want that results layer, which remember we set the sharing on to everyone. That's important. And Survey123 is smart enough to know that that is a survey point data that's captured in that information in that survey. And then what information, select the choice label field. So this is the field that pops up in the drop down that the kids can see. And in this case, we want that tree name and type field to be what the kids see. That way they can actually identify which tree they're trying to attach their record to. The additional filters, both location and value, can be really useful, especially if you have large data sets or data sets that are geographically spread out. Functionally, it just helps reduce the number of options in the pull down for the kids if you need it. So we're going to go ahead and make this a required question. This is our location information. We don't really need to do any of these other things. They all look good. So our student survey currently only has two fields, the student name and the tree location. Now, of course, the students were doing this. They're probably doing things like collecting the diameter or the circumference of the tree. Maybe they're collecting information about the tree health, maybe other animals or insects that they find in or near the tree. Maybe they're looking for lichen on the tree bark, that sort of thing. So we would fill all that in below the tree location. As it is right now, I think for our purposes, we're going to hit the publish button. We'll hit publish. Great, so our second survey, our student survey, has now published, and we're ready to take a look at it. So we'll go over to collaborate. I want to look at the share survey first. I'm going to want kids to be able to access the survey and submit information without being logged in. So I'll set that to everyone and press save. And it's working. There we go. So what we should be able to do now, and I don't have to share the results on this survey to everyone. I can, but I don't need to for the use case we have in mind here. I'm going to go ahead and pop out our new survey. Remember, this is a student-facing survey. So we'll see if this works. I'm a student, and maybe I'm going to enter in my unique student identification code. And then I come down to tree location. Remember, this field should auto-populate. So if I click on it, when I click on it, I get a drop-down, and it gives me the name of those 3 trees that I identified in my teacher survey. So I can select it, and then as a student, when I submit it, it is going to record both the attribute and the geometry data. So the survey is smart enough that it's grabbing the positional data from the original survey and bringing it over into our tree form, our student's tree form. So